Okay, I think we are live. Made it a minute before 12, and I am waiting for my AVG to come up because it starts scanning right at noon. It looks like it's going to be me presenting alone today. I'm not quite sure what happened, but that's quite okay. It has been an amazing and interesting week where I have lost track of days all week this week. So that's just the way it goes sometimes. All right, so welcome to the blasting through the top 10 limiting beliefs. I'm Jennifer Nearance with the Academy of Holistic Healing, and today what we are going to be talking about is I'm afraid of trying and failing. And I know when you stop and think about it, you go, well, yeah, I don't want to get hurt again. Or I've tried this and I've tried that and I've tried the other thing and none of it's worked. So it always reminds me of the story of Thomas Edison, where he found thousands of ways not to make a light bulb. And he realized that he only needed one. And so he wasn't really all that set back by all of the ways it didn't work. In some ways, he was getting excited because he knew he had tried something and it didn't work, so he got to set it aside. He was that much closer to finding the one that did because he had belief in himself that it was going to work. And that's kind of what this comes down to, is that the unshakable belief in oneself that, one, we can handle the failure, and two, that even though we have failed in our attempt in this one particular thing, it doesn't mean that we personally are a failure. And in fact, I've heard it said that the only real failure is quitting, failing to try again. And I know it's really easy to sit and talk about it and say, oh yes, you need to just pick yourself up and go at it again. But it can be really an overwhelming fear. And so since I've got control of this thing today, as you notice, we just dove right in. That is one of the things with me, is that I tend to go right in, right to the core, and let's just get to work. Okay? I will back up a little bit and let you know, remind you what the premise of the Academy of Holistic Healing is. And just like we're talking about the mindset stuff, the Academy is an organization that is providing information, teaching, training, classes, eventually certification on different aspects of bringing the whole person into balance, mind, body, and spirit, with as much natural ways as we can. And Michaela and I talk an awful lot about meditation, about toning, sound healing, and my personal favorite is EFT, or meridian tapping. And all of these things are natural ways, holistic ways, non-pharmaceutical, non-artificial ways of us being able to be empowered to take back our lives, to take back control of our health, of our emotions, of our livelihood, of our financial situation, creating the relationships that we dearly want in our life, and creating truly the all-encompassing, thriving life that we all want. And being able to do it without altering, without running, without hiding, without being in fear, without having to take medications, without having to rely on, let me take a step back and make sure that I'm being heard properly. I am not saying stop taking whatever medicines your doctors have prescribed. I'm not saying that these are replacements cold turkey for things that you may be currently seeing a doctor or a mental health counselor for. What I'm saying is, as you learn these new modalities and these new ways of viewing the world and yourself and your being in the world, you will have another conversation place to have with your doctors, with your counselors, to say, hey, this seems like it's really working. I've tried it on this, and the other thing, and I would like to try it on whatever the next step is for you. It is my go-to thing when I have body pains, mental pains, spiritual pains. I go within first. And if I can't figure it out, and I've reached out to those of like-minded friends, that is when I seek outside help. Always going in here first. And that's the premise of the Academy, and it's also the main point of this Blasting Through the Limiting Mindset Beliefs course, series of webinars that Michaela and I are presenting. Because our minds, our emotions, when stuck in a negative place, keep us from really attaining everything that we can in life. And which brings us back to the mindset of today, which is, I'm afraid of trying and failing. And when I see that, each time I read it, there's another word in it, which is again. Because if you haven't tried something and failed, there's generally not a fear there. And granted, it could go all the way back to not being able to ride your bike all the way up the hill before you fell. It could be as simple as remembering, strangely enough, remembering when you were learning how to walk and you fell down and you hit your head and it really, really hurt. Chances are, though, it has been something more when you've been a little bit older. Think of, going back to the analogy of the kid falling down when they're just learning to walk. That fear of trying and failing isn't as instilled in a child as it is in an adult. And there's a myriad of different reasons for it. But in my research for this class, one of the things that I was running up against, one of the things that I came across multiple times was, I'm going to get just a little bit on the, I'm going to go a little bit deep right at the moment, so if you don't understand, leave me a question. Ask me a question, send me a message, and I'd be happy to clarify more. And this is going back to third chakra, and that's our willpower. That's our ability to choose to step forward again. It's our knowing that we can trust ourselves. It's our knowing that we belong, that we really do have a place in this world. And choosing, using our willpower, using our will to act again, or to act maybe in a different way, or to act in a way that is different than a way that you know that has failed before. Point is, third chakra, belly button, energy center of gut, personal power, and it's one of those interesting places where people tend to be either have very little willpower or they have the need to control everybody and everything. And it's an interesting thing as you start bringing that into balance. You start being able to take action based on what you want. And it just sort of happens. It doesn't become a fight anymore. The fight is gone. You are just naturally stepping into this place of, I want this, therefore I'm going to act on this, without it being having to take into battle. So the concepts behind I'm afraid of trying and failing is multi-layered. There is one, the basic concept of fear, which is first and second chakra stuff, which could be a not wanting to be seen. Taking action, which is a second and third chakra thing, where you really understand what it is that you want, and so now you're going to take action on it, which brings you into the third chakra of I choose to take action. And I remember I was seeing a business coach for a year, and I had many ideas of things that I wanted to do, things that I was very passionate about. And one of the things that I remember coming up against was, well, wait a minute, I've tried that and it didn't work. Why am I trying to do this again? And what I didn't realize is that I had been trying, but I had been trying from a position of still being afraid, of not believing in myself, of it wasn't so much of trying and failing again, it's, wait a minute, I put myself out there and nobody wanted it. Nobody wanted me. It wasn't about what I was doing. I took it personally. It was about me. And I realized as I've been doing more of the chakra work that it isn't so much about me. It's truly being willing to get out past yourself and actually get your message out there. Because the feeling and the motivation and the passion and believing in what it is that you're here to do. And this is really very fascinating. There is so much a jumble right now. And there is so much that is put into this afraid of trying and failing, that as I'm trying to share with you, there is so much information that is trying to make its way out that it feels like it's very popcorned. It's very scattered all over the place. And stepping into that place of trusting that the correct message is making its way to the correct people. So that is another one of those life lessons that as we step into that place, as we use our willpower to try again even though we failed, we have to trust that the steps are going to be there even though we may not know what they are, and that the people that want, need, and are really hungry for what we have to say are showing up. Even though we may not see it, we may not know how it's happening, we have to trust in that. Now, I'm going to do a screen share with you here real quick because I found this most amazing quote and picture that is so absolutely perfect. So I'm going to read it out loud. I found this actually on Facebook on one of my friends' pages. It says, character and wisdom are sculpted over time. They come with loss, lessons, and triumphs. They come after doubts, second guesses, and unknowns. If there was a definitive path to success, everyone would be on it. The seeds of your success are planted in your past failures. Your best stories will come from overcoming your greatest struggles. Your praises will be birthed from your pains. So keep standing, keep learning, and keep living. That to me is the epitome of being able to move past. Hold on, I lost you guys. There we go. That quote to me is the epitome of why, what happens, and how we grow past the I'm afraid to take a chance and fail again. So if we look back on our lives, our lives have been a series of steps, successes, failures, getting up again and trying again. And as one who has been on the ground many times, I know that one of my greatest strengths is being able to pick myself up and go again. Do I like it? No. Is it hard? It gets harder every time. On one hand. On the other hand, there is a greater understanding that, oh, wait a minute, I did it once, I did it twice, did it 3, 4, 5, yep, and I know I can do it this time. And it was fascinating to find out that that was one of the things that my children respect most about me, is my ability to pick myself up and go again. Find another way to make it happen, to say what it is that I'm here to share with people, to not give up, to not take it to heart, to realize that, wait a minute, I could have had a better result had I done it this way instead of this way. Sometimes you actually have to go under the problem instead of be like a ram and run through it. So to find out that being called tenacious is a good thing was a surprise to me. And to find out that the number of people that are around me that watch to see how I handle the setbacks in life, and they take strength from that. Like, what? Really? You're not? Because in my head, everybody's judging me. I can remember several. There was a time when my business tanked so badly that I lost where I was living. And I had to do what at that point I thought was the unthinkable. I actually had to move in with my ex-husband and his wife because I could not afford to live on my own anymore. Yeah, uncomfortable, hard, unbelievably difficult. And it was awesome. I learned so much about me. There was so much healing that took place. There was greater understanding of why our relationship didn't work and why we were so much better as friends. There was so much understanding and grace extended to all of us during that time. It was amazing. Healing that happened with the kids that would never have happened any other way. So was it a failure? Yeah. Yeah, it was. It was a big one. It was a painful one. And so much great came out of it because I was willing to step back out of my own way and just take a look and see and be grateful for the situation and be grateful for the learning and be open to the healing. And so I'm no longer there. And we are all thankful for that because it had reached its end. The healing had happened. The growth that was necessary happened. And something in me, and I'm going to be totally self-centered and selfish on this one, something in me finally healed. And I was able to take a risk and take a chance that I hadn't been able to before, and to believe in myself in a way that I never had before. And that's what happens. When you take that risk and you take a chance, even if you fail, there is a great learning and an amazing healing that can happen in that situation for you if you're able to look at it. And for me, the biggest thing was to remember gratitude, to be thankful for their willingness to step up and say, yeah, this is not comfortable, this is not an easy situation for anybody, but here, we can help. Wow. So how many times in your own life have things like that happened? Not, I mean, God, I hope not exactly like that, but where you have taken a risk. For me, that was my business. And I stepped out. I started this business. I thought I was doing everything right. I realized part of my healing was realizing that there were things that I could have done that I didn't. And my business failed. I lost everything. And in the course of admitting that, I had help come from so many different places. It was astounding. And the only thing that was stopping me was me. So, how many times have that happened to you where you've taken a risk and things didn't turn out the way that you wanted them to? But when you look back on it, you realize, no, wait a minute. Had it not failed, had it been a success, you would have missed out on this thing over here that happened. So long way around to get to the statement of sometimes things don't work out the way that we want them to because there's parts and pieces of ourselves that we have not brought forward with ourselves that we need to pick up. And the only place that we can pick them up is if we go back to where we left them. Sometimes that means taking a step back in our life. Sometimes it means just taking a break from our life to be able to really go within and find out, oh, shoot, I was doing it this way when I needed to do it this way. Oh, okay, I get it. And as we bring those pieces of ourselves back together again, we step forward the next time stronger and in a more complete peace. And I'm just going to kind of hijack this for a moment. I'm going to take you with me, and we're going to go into a tapping round. We're going to go ahead and do some meridian tapping right now around this whole I'm afraid to take a chance because I might fail. What if I take a risk and I don't make it? Some ways that's a way to kind of be really excited. But so I will warn you, we're going to do some meridian tapping. If it's not your thing, feel free to exit the Hangout, stop the recording, however it is that you're listening to this, fast forward to the end, and we'll go from there. Otherwise, if you're interested, hang out. We're going to start. Just follow along with me and repeat after me, and I'll pause and let you speak. So just repeat back what I say. Even though I don't know where she's going with this, it's making me a little nervous. And how can tapping on your body make a difference on this one? Because these are just simple facts. I failed. How can I fix that? But I know this is keeping me from doing something I really want to do. I know something's got to shift. And I'm open to moving in a new direction. Because I deeply and completely love, honor, and respect myself. Even though I have no idea what she's doing. And I don't see how this can help. Because it's a simple fact. I tried and failed. And I know that if I do it again, I'm going to fail again. But I also know this fear is holding me back. And just what if this actually could work? I am open to a new reality. I am open to things shifting. And I deeply and completely love, honor, and respect myself. Even though, privately, I think she's full of shit. But the pain of not knowing for sure and the pain of staying stuck is too great. We're just going to see what happens. Because I really do, deeply and completely, love, honor, and respect myself. Here I am, sitting with all of this fear, all of this doubt, even all of this anger. Anger about being called out, fear of having to lose my security blanket, fear of it not working. What if I make a fool out of myself again? What if I just make a fool out of myself? And whose judgment is that anyway? I wonder, is it possible that just maybe people are watching me too? Is it possible that people are watching to see me stand again? I wonder. Is it possible that all those people that I think are judging me are actually cheering me on inside? Because, you know, when we act, when we pick ourselves up off the ground after we've fallen, we inspire others to be able to do the same. We've set the example. As broken and bloody sometimes as it may be, forward motion examples. Living in integrity examples. Being a voice of change examples. We move the entire world forward with us. But wait a minute, we're just talking about me right now. We're just talking about my fear right now. Don't go all global on me. And I'm just going to honor how I'm feeling. I'm going to honor the fear inside. I'm going to say thank you for keeping me safe. You've done a great job of it. I've been too afraid to move into any new areas. But maybe, just maybe, it's time. And I am open to the possibility of taking a step, even if I fall on my face, because who knows what I'll find down there. Who knows how amazing that step can be. I am open to that possibility. And I am open to releasing the need to know how everything is going to play out. I am releasing the need to know that everything will be fine. I'm releasing the need to know that everything will work out exactly like I plan. I'm releasing the need to know how it's all going to look in the end. I am open to the picture developing as I continue to step out in faith. I'm trusting in myself. I'm trusting in the universe. And I am trusting in everything around me to show up in divine timing to support this journey. And if I do fall, I trust that there will be something great for me that I would have otherwise missed. And that once I have found it and integrated it, I will move forward again. I like that idea. I like that I can release the need to control. That it's okay to fall. That it's okay to pick yourself back up. And I'm excited about the future. Okay, so take a deep breath. Breathe in. Breathe out. We covered so much in that tapping round. That was really kind of amazing. So there were a lot of things up for some people that are listening to this. Yeah, really fascinating. Let me know what comes up for you in the days to follow. Let me know if you need some additional tapping, and I will send you some information, okay? So now we're going to do a real quick wrap up. And this has been pretty intense. We went really deep, really fast. And we're talking about blasting through the limiting belief of I'm afraid to try and fail. And it always says to me, I'm afraid of trying and failing again. And yet I would encourage each of you to really take a look at that and look back in your past and say, okay, so when have I fallen? When have I tried something and had it not turn out the way that I wanted it to? First off. Then take a look at the way that you wanted it to turn out. Is it possible that your expectations were set maybe, I don't want to say too high, don't want to say incorrectly, but is it possible that the way that you were expecting it to turn out wasn't going to be able to happen? Where you were going, what you were trying to accomplish? Were there some pieces that were missing that are necessary to make that reality happen? And were you able to learn some things when it didn't work out? Were you able to realize what the missing pieces were? And I would say that probably if you spend some time looking at that, everybody that has listened to this will be able to say, well, yeah, I hadn't thought about that. Yeah, I was trying to get this job and I applied for it and everything, I thought I was a shoo-in and I ended up not getting the job. And then when I looked at it again, I realized that what they expected from the job was going to require me to be away from my family for too much, or what they didn't tell me was that it was a relocation and there was no way I could take my kids out of school or whatever. Take a look at the situations instead of being in the middle of it, in the pain of it. Try and take a step back from it and look at it all the way around and see what the lessons were that you learned. Look at where it was really, truly a blessing in disguise. And it's really kind of funny when we look back on past events and take a look at them from a slightly different perspective. We suddenly realize that, oh, wow, had we gotten that, that would have really screwed things up. I would have really hated it. That would have been bad. So many times that have happened, not only with my own life, but in my clients' lives as we're going through things, looking at things going, oh my God, had that happened, had, this thing that I really, really wanted and I was working towards, and had I gotten it, then this, that, and that, blah, would have happened, and those all would have been really bad things. I'm so glad that I didn't get this, because it forced me to, sometimes we need to be forced, it forced me to go back and re-look at some of these other things. And in the course of that, I relearned that, what, I am resilient. I learned that I can trust myself. I learned that these skill sets are incredibly good, and I learned that these skill sets I need to brush up on. And this one thing over here, I didn't have any idea how it played into it until 3 years down the road, and then I realized that I didn't know how to do this, and this was the linchpin that was holding it all together. Huh, who knew? So take a moment and go back and look at your past failures and look at it through a slightly different filter. You may discover that you have had grace and blessing piled on you that you were unaware of. Take another look. And as you're moving through this, continue to tap on it. And something I shared with one of my clients just the other day, you don't have to, you can tap anytime that you're feeling frustrated, anxious, fearful, happy, to extend that feeling out and make it take over more of you. Note to self, it's not always about the negative. The negative helps us move past places we feel stuck in. The tapping on the positive expands that even more. It is the most amazing thing. So, back to what I was saying, any time that you're feeling tension or angst or upset or questioning or anything that you don't understand, which for me is an awful lot of the time, I'll just tap. Because if you're feeling it and you're aware enough of it to acknowledge, hey, you know what, I've got a lot of tension through, what is all this, excuse me, tension? Ooh, we worked on some good stuff. We got some energy shifting. What is this tension that I'm feeling in my back and in my shoulders? And I don't know what it is. I just know that my body is really uncomfortable. And I hear and I honor and thank you for bringing the message to my attention. I don't know what it means yet, but I'm just going to say thank you, and I hear you, and I honor it. and I'm open to understanding what the point is so that it can be released. The point is you can tap at any time, and it's an amazing, amazing tool. Okay, guys, I'm going to back out of here before we get down any deeper because I don't want to overwhelm anybody. So again, thanks for showing up. I really appreciate you. I appreciate you sharing time with me, and let me know how I can help support you on your journey, okay? And again, you can reach me at support@theacademyofholistichealing.com. You can leave a comment below. You can send me a message on Facebook, Jennifer Neerance. You can, oh my goodness, you can go to the Academy of Holistic Healing. There's a contact me page there. Any number of ways. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can leave me a comment. You can message me there. You can subscribe to my channel and ask me questions that way. Any number of ways of getting in touch with me. If you have a question, if you find that you're in a tight spot, if you're looking for some guidance, let me know. Let me know how I can help support you on your journey, okay? This is truly about building community, about reaching out and sharing our gifts, and it's about really putting ourselves out there and being vulnerable and saying, hey, I don't have all the answers, but I've learned an awful lot on my years on this planet and the people that I've met and the journeys and the places that I've been in, and I will help you in any way that I can. So, blessings to all. Thank you so much for joining us, and I will be posting what the next one is in the next couple of days. We've got a few more to go through in this top 10 limiting mindset beliefs section that Michaela Kennedy and I are doing, and we will see you next week. Thanks again. Blessings, everyone. Have a great day. This is Jennifer with the Academy of Holistic Healing.com signing off. Have a great day.